Hello, welcome back to Science in Pajamas School Edition. Today we're going to be looking at another one of my labs for physics class for those students who aren't able to come in. If they're sick and they weren't in class, they weren't able to come in and make it up. This is a way for them to still be able to kind of participate, see what's going on, and still be able to collect the data and kind of do the lab even if they weren't here in person to do it. So this is for the Momentum Quick Lab. So it's a lab we do at the beginning of our Momentum chapter to kind of help the kids understand the connection between mass, velocity, and momentum. So what we do is we have two different balls, the tennis ball and the ping pong ball, and we're going to roll them at three different amounts of force in order to get them to go three different velocities. And then the kids will calculate the momentums for the different balls at different velocities and then compare them to each other, as well as compare them at the different velocities to itself. But first, we, of course, have to find their mass. After all, the equation for momentum is mass times velocity. So let's start with the tennis ball. All right, about 57.57 grams. So 57.57 grams. Now, remember, this is in grams, so you do have to convert it to kilograms. So the mass of the tennis ball is 57.57 grams. Don't forget to convert that to kilograms. For the ping pong ball, it's about 2.34 grams. That's 2.34 grams. Don't forget to convert that to kilograms. Mass of the ping pong ball, 2.34 grams. Don't forget to convert that to kilograms. All right. So now we're going to move over and talk about our setup. Now again, we're going to be pushing the balls for a certain distance, specifically 1 meter. And there we go. What we're going to do is a series of 3 trials for 3 different amounts of force. Less force, medium force, more force. Less force, we should expect a lower velocity. Medium force, medium velocity. More force, bigger velocity. And we're going to be covering it for a distance of, 1 meter. Now, it's important to have the same person, there we go, pushing the ball each time, because when you have the same person pushing it each time, they know how hard they are pushing it. So this way, you can expect it to be mostly consistent the entire time. If it's mostly consistent the entire time, that's a little bit, kind of one less thing to worry about in terms of human error. Now, how we're going to do this. We are going to roll the ball with this roughly the same amount of force. Again, it's not going to be exactly the same amount because we're humans, human error. But this is more just a lab to kind of get the students to help make the connections. That's why it's called Momentum Quick Lab. But we're going to roll the ball 3 times for 1 meter. Each time we're going to take the time and measure how long it takes it to roll the distance of 1 meter. We're going to find the average of the 3 times for each of the force trials. Once we have the average time for less force, we can then use the distance of 1 meter and the average time to find the velocity. We can then use the velocity and the mass to find the momentum of that force trial. And then we repeat it for medium force and then more force. Then we switch to the ping pong ball. And that's what we're doing. All right, so let's start with less force and the tennis ball. So I'm going to get out my timer. I'm going to do it as laps so that I can just show you all 3 times at once. Okay, so starting with less force, trial 1. Okay, well, I didn't exactly do the lap part correctly. I forgot it keeps going. Anyways, lap 1 or trial 1. I forgot how lap works. That's my bad. Lap is better when it's continuous. So trial 1, 1.55 seconds. So at the bottom there, 1.55 seconds. I guess we're just doing start stop. 1.55 seconds for trial 1. Silly Miss Komar. All right, trial 2. All right. Trial 2, 1.50 seconds. 1.50 seconds. And now trial 3 for less force. .65 seconds. 1.65 seconds. All right, so those are the 3 times for the less force. So now that we have the 3 times for less force, we can move on to the 3 times for medium force. All right, time 1 for medium force, 1.13 seconds, 1.13 seconds. Trial 2. 0.98 seconds, 0.98 seconds. All right, and then trial 3. 0.93 seconds again, 0.93 seconds again. All right, so those are the 3 times for the medium force for the tennis ball. Now let's move on to the more force for the tennis ball. So here's trial 1 for more force. .75 seconds, 0.75 seconds. Oops. .70 seconds, 0.70 seconds. .65 seconds, 0.65 seconds. All right, so those are the 3 times for the more force for the tennis ball. We are now done with the tennis ball trials. All right, there we go. That'll help keep that from falling. All right, so now that we are done with the tennis ball, we can now move on to the ping pong ball. We have all the time trials. We have 3 time trials for the tennis ball, 3 with less force, 3 with medium force and 3 with more force. We can now find the average for each of the force trials for time. Use those average times with the distance of 1 meter to find the average, or to find the 3 velocities. And then we can use the velocities with the mass to find the momentums at each force trial. Now we're going to do the same thing with the ping pong ball, starting out with less force. Again, I'm going to try and use the same amount of force that I pushed the tennis ball with the ping pong ball. But starting with less force. Took 1.78 seconds, 1.78 seconds for trial 1. .98 seconds, 1.98 seconds. Shoot, sorry. I didn't hit stop in time. Sorry about that. Oh, I hit off of it. Okay. 1.88 seconds. 1.88 seconds. All right. So those are the three time trials for less force. Let's move on to medium force. Okay. 1.26, 1.26 seconds. So for trial, the first one for medium force, 1.26 seconds. .10 seconds, 1.10 seconds. So that's trial 2. Let's do trial 3. .45 seconds, 1.45 seconds. All right, now let's do more force with the ping pong ball. .68 seconds, 0.68 seconds. .98 seconds, 0.98 seconds. All right, and the last trial. Missed the start button, sorry. .71 seconds, 0.71 seconds. All right, so now that we have our three time trial, or all of our time trials for the ping pong ball, we can do the same thing. We would find the average for each of the forces. So the average time for less force, average time for medium force, average time for more force. And then we would use the average times and the distance of 1 meter in order to find the in order to find the velocities. Then we would use the velocities and the mass of the ping pong ball in order to find the momentums for each of the force trials. And then you just gotta answer the questions. Anyways, I hope this helps, and now we can go ahead and complete the lab and make those connections and hopefully understand what momentum is and how the mass and the velocities of different objects affect the object's momentum. All right, as always, my ducklings, if you have any questions about the concepts, the lab, or anything, feel free to ask me in class or email me. But in the meantime, just take care of yourself and just be awesome. All right, ducklings, hopefully this helped, but most importantly, take care of yourselves. All right, bye.